Illegal migration is poised to become a central issue in the upcoming general election, expected to take place next year. The topic has dominated headlines for months, and now Labour leader Sir Kier Starmer has unveiled his party's plans as part of what they would do in the event of an electoral victory. Now, he's made some commitment to treat people smugglers as terrorists and many other things besides. Also said there's a need for an enhanced UK-EU cooperation in data and intelligence sharing, and also a focus on improving information quality and speed. And joining me now is David Taylor, a Conservative councillor and a Christian. David, thank you so much for giving us your time this afternoon.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me on.
So quite a lot of different kind of statements and, being issued and released at this time. So what are your reactions to some of Labour's plans?
Yeah, it's a hot topic, isn't it? The illegal migration. The initial reaction that I have, the critics that are looking at the plans and saying that what Sir Kier is proposing will potentially increase the number of in the UK rather than doing what he's proposing, which is to decrease. So we're seeing figures banded around now that there may be up to 120,000 people a year sent across to the UK from the EU. And my worry about that plan is that it relies on other EU states or EU states to play their part, which isn't something that we're seeing necessarily happen. There's a lot of Eastern European countries that are very opposed to this plan and are not taking what the EU would call their fair share. So I have concerns about whether it would actually be effective, whether the numbers would go down or not. But I have another concern on top of all of that, and that is that the plan doesn't talk about the most important question, which is what happens when these people reach the UK? How do we support them and how do we show them compassion? That's missing in Sir Kier's plan, it's missing in the Conservatives' plan, and I want to hear something from both parties on what we do in that situation.
Yeah, really interesting reflections there. Obviously, a lot of people at this moment will be sort of assessing, the Conservative Party's response to this. Do you think that the Conservatives will start reflecting on this topic and thinking, okay, how can we do things differently? What will our approach be moving forward?
The Conservative Party over the last few years has made it clear, I think, that this is a topic they're going to double down on. We're seeing both parties talk about smashing the gangs. Today we've heard Kier Starmer talk about treating people like terrorists. There's a lot of very strong rhetoric out there. And to be honest, that concerns me. The organisation Hope Not Hate have highlighted that this discussion is fueling some really dangerous far-right activism. It's encouraging people. So I do think, yes, we're going to see the Conservative Party talk more about how they tackle immigration and so on. But I am concerned by that. And I'm encouraging my party and people inside to also think about when those 120,000 people reach the UK, how do we make sure that we don't just smash the gangs, but we also help the victims of those gangs?
And it's a very interesting observation there you make about not just kind of smashing gangs, but thinking about the victims, because I guess that's part of the challenge. When someone arrives, to be able to assess in a short space of time, is this person trafficked? Are they a refugee? How genuine is their situation? And I suppose the question is, where is mercy in all of that? So is that something you would hope would be factored in to the decisions that actually some of these people have been traumatized by whatever they've escaped from?
Yeah, it has to be. What's really interesting, when you look at the asylum applications, so up until March 2023, 74% of applications end up being granted. So in a vast majority of cases, these people claiming asylum are, according to our system, legal, legitimate asylum seekers. So we've got 172,000 people on the UK waiting list for asylum right now. If you take that 74% figure, that's 130,000 genuine asylum seekers trapped in hotels, bed and breakfast, not allowed to work, not allowed to contribute. And so my question is, whatever you're going to do, increase the number coming in, reduce the number coming in, we've got tens of thousands of genuine asylum seekers trapped, not receiving the help they need right now. And that's what I want to see both parties talking about, as well as smashing the gangs and breaking up that crime ring.
And I think certainly today, a lot of people are going to be talking about the welfare of people whilst they're in this process after a Colombian man who was in Heathrow Immigration Removal Centre apparently was begging for help, willing to leave the UK whilst being detained. And now he has died, even though his family said he had no pre-existing mental health problems. So I guess it is a reminder of a need for kind of, I guess, an overhaul on how this process is done. And that's a big task for someone to be able to I guess, get involved in. I know sometimes Christians, we might be saying, well, actually, maybe we should be welcoming people rather than shutting the borders. This is a kind of an ongoing debate, isn't it? Who should be welcoming? Who should we not? How can we be just praying, I guess, for wisdom for those who are making decisions about all of this?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's something I face as a councillor as well. You know, I want to say that I have love and compassion and care towards the asylum seekers and I want them housed. But I know that the housing waiting list for my own residents is huge and they're also being housed in hotels. So it's not even just who do you help, it's who do you help first. And what a difficult decision, what a difficult conversation to have. I have a phrase that I've taken from a song from a Christian band. And the saying they have is if it's us or them, then it's us for them. And that's the way that I like to think about this. You know, what we've got here is 120,000 legitimate asylum seekers who have risked their life to come to the UK and want to contribute. And all of the academic studies show that when you allow these people in and you work with them and you give them the support mechanism, they are of a benefit to the UK. So we need to pray, one, for compassion and wisdom towards these people. We need to pray